England 2, Germany 0, and it's your match review. Game plan executed to perfection. That's exactly how Gareth Southgate pictured the game to turn out. That's how he set his team out, and that's the result that he wanted based on the team that he put out. And you hear some English fans saying, oh, we need to play better football, the manager's a negative manager and stuff like that. Maybe, he may be a negative manager. I'm not denying that. He plays with two holding midfielders. So any manager that's playing with two holding midfielders, obviously their first thought is defend more than attack. But guys, you have to understand something. England haven't won a trophy, an international trophy, for over 50 years. For over 50 years, they haven't won an international trophy. So forget about wanting to play beautiful football. This is tournament knockout football. In knockout football, it is not about playing beautiful football. It's not about blowing the other team away with your playing style and passing them off the pitch. And it's not about anything like that. Knockout football is about winning. Winning individual games. You've got 7 games in the Euros you need to win. It doesn't matter how you win, you need to win. Portugal won the last Euros, they were struggling. They drew all their games in the group stages. They went to penalties for most of they went to extra time, for most of the knockout rounds. They struggled, but guess what? They got over the line because that's knockout football. It's not about playing pretty football. It's not about painting pretty images. No, it's not about painting pretty pictures. It's about getting the job done. By hook or by crook, getting the job done. And this England team is tailor-made for doing that. That's how they are set up. Tailor-made. Shut the back door. They don't concede goals, and they score 1, they score 2, but that's how they are set up. And Gary Neville said something, and it caused a lot of riots on social media, especially football Twitter. And he said that England's best asset is their manager. And I hate to say it, but I think Gary Neville might be right. I think England's best asset is their manager. You look at the job that he is doing. It's a fantastic job. We cannot deny that it is a fantastic job. They got to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 2018. That's a good run they had. And now they are poised to go to the final. They're poised to go to the final. They've qualified for the quarterfinal. And they're teams that they're playing in the quarterfinal and in the semi-final is teams that they should be beating. There's no big teams. The only big team they will face is in the final, where I think it'll be Italy. I stand to be corrected. Italy or Belgium, one of those teams. I personally think it'll be Italy. But that is their strongest opposition that they face in the final. And the finals are one-off game. Anything can happen in the final. So Gareth Southgate is doing a good job. But one of the main things that I give him credit for is that he's bold. He's bold. He's not a weak man. He's bold. He's got a backbone. He makes tough decisions and he goes against the grain. Players that many of the fans, many of the media want to play, want to start. He doesn't play and start those players. One of those players is Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is a huge player in England. He is a huge player in England because of what he's doing off the pitch. Marcus Rashford has done nothing major on the pitch. Let's face it, he hasn't won anything major with Man United. Talk about Europa and Carabao Cups. No, I'm talking about a major trophy. He hasn't won anything major. But off the pitch, he's a massive player. The brand Marcus Rashford is a massive brand. He's a massive player. And Gareth Southgate is benching this guy. Marcus Rashford has not started a game for England in this tournament. That's a big decision. That's a huge decision, because I know a Manchester United manager that's even too afraid to take Marcus Rashford off during the game, to substitute him during the game. Gareth Southgate is not even starting this guy. So you have to give Gareth Southgate praise and credit where it is due. He's a bold manager. The likes of Marcus Rashford not getting any game, not starting. Jack Grealish featuring here and there, but not really starting for England. Jadon Sancho not starting. These are all decisions that, you have to be a bold man to make these decisions, because if you get it wrong, the people are going to hound you for not starting these players. And he's getting it right. Jack Grealish Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, they may be your favorite players. You may love to see them playing, but you cannot deny that he's winning games. So as long as you're winning games, you cannot criticize that manager. And it is looking like England are going to go all the way. I actually think they are going to go all the way to the final, and they stand a good chance to winning it. England haven't won a trophy for over 50 years. I think it's like 55 years. That's a long time. So it's coming home. I think it may finally come home. So the game plan was executed to perfection. Look here, England will never outplay a team. That's not how they set up. That's not how they designed. That's not how they coached. They coached to keep the back door shut. That's why he plays with two holding midfielders, is to keep the back door shut. And two holding midfielders gives you a solid base to attack from. And that's what he does. And then he relies on individual brilliance of Raheem Sterling and so forth to do something. And Raheem Sterling is on smoke. He's on smoke. The season that he had with Manchester City was a very underwhelming season. It was a poor season, to be honest. And he's just turned it around in the Euros. He looks like he's back. He's going past people. He's running with pace and power past them. And he's getting on the end of things. He's getting on the end of things. And this is what we've come to know of Raheem Sterling for the past 2-3 seasons at Manchester City. He gets on the end of things. He's been scoring 20 goals for Manchester City for the past 2-3 seasons. It's only this season now that he hasn't done anything. So he's getting on the end of things, and he is their best player at this moment. Harry Kane got a goal, and that's good for his confidence. It's very good for his confidence because he is struggling. But what I will tell you is that Harry Kane looks like, I don't think he's fit. I don't know why, but it looks like he's not fit. But there's something wrong with him because his overall game is not good. It is not good. He's giving no movements. He's not showing himself for the ball. When he gets the ball, he's scuffing the chances. He's scuffing the ball. He's not looking like the Harry Kane we know that plays for Tottenham. So it's definitely a concern. Just because he scored a goal doesn't mean that things are just going to turn around. It doesn't mean that, his performances are still alarming. But England are getting the job done. Raheem Sterling is their main guy. He will never ever sit on the bench. So I think that he's the first name on the team sheet for the games going forward, and rightly so. He's having a fantastic tournament. If you watch my match preview that I done on this game, I called this result, I called this performance, I called the lineups in my match preview. I called everything because I could see how it was going to pan out. I said that England will change to a back three, and England changing to a back three is not a bad thing. I give an example. A team like France that play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or whatever they play, but they play with a back four. They won the World Cup playing that way. They changed when they versed Switzerland, and as a result of that, in the first half, they were losing the game, and they weren't performing well because they changed to a back three. A back three is a formation, guys, that you have to have experience playing in it, and you have to have multiple training sessions, because it is not it's not a formation that you can just change and decide, okay, tomorrow we're playing with a back three. No, it requires a lot of training, a lot of practice, and a lot of positional organization, because your fullbacks need to know what they're doing. Your centre-backs need to know, and most importantly, your midfielders need to know. Look at the forwards. The forwards, they stay the same. I think even if you play 4-3-3 or if you play 3-4-3, your forwards will always remain the same. Their game won't change too much. But the midfield and the wing-backs need to know what they're doing. So you saw France changing to a back three for Switzerland in the first half, and they were atrocious. They were extremely poor because they had no experience playing in that formation. Whereas England have experience playing with a back three. In the UEFA Nations League, that's how they played, with a back three. I even thought they would set up in this campaign with a back three. So when he went to a 4-2-3-1, I was surprised. But when England changed to the back three for this game, I said it in my match preview. I said it will be a good decision for England to do that. And I said it will not faze them, and they will be comfortable playing in that formation because they have experience playing in that formation. And that's what you saw. They nullified Germany's attack. Germany have been very good on the attack in this tournament, particularly through their left wing back and occasionally the right wing back with Joshua Kimmich, but particularly with the left wing back. The left wing back done absolutely nothing in this game because England nullified. England nullified all of Germany's attacks. Germany had possession of the ball. They had a bit of possession of the ball, but they were not doing much with the ball. They were not creating chance of the chance of the chance, because England just nullified them. And England set out and said, okay, we're going to copy and paste the formation that you're doing. We're going to set up exactly the same, and let's see if you could break us down. And Germany did create one or two chances, but ultimately it weren't big enough. The Thomas Muller one, they never create that. That came from a bad pass. I think it was from Sterling. Someone knocked the ball off Sterling. But that was an error from England that gave Thomas Muller that chance. And Thomas Muller, I'm sorry, but you experienced, you world class, you've won everything in the game. World Cup, Champions League, every single thing. You have to be scoring that. That's a one-on-one with keeper. If Thomas Muller scored that, it would have been 1-1, and I got no doubt that game would have gone to extra time. And anything can happen in extra time. You go to penalties, anything can happen. The fact that he missed that just shows you, it sums up Germany's whole campaign. They've been underwhelming during this campaign. They've been inconsistent in this campaign. And guys, when you're going into knockout football, you can't turn the tap on and off. And that's what Germany was trying to do. You know, they were performing inconsistent and poorly throughout the group stages, and then they all of a sudden think they're going to come beat a consistent English team. It's not going to happen like that. Form is something that you can't turn on and off. Especially going into a final, you can't just turn on and off a performance. And so England had the momentum. Everything was screaming an English win, and that's why even in my match preview, I said England will win this game. They've got everything going for them, and they will win this game. And look here, we weren't wrong. We weren't wrong. They won the game, and I always thought that England were in control of that game. I always thought, and I had that feeling that England are in control of this game. And I had that feeling, even though England won creating chances, I had that feeling that they can score one goal. They can score at least a goal. At least a goal. And I had that feeling. Whereas when I was watching Germany, I did not have any feeling that these guys can score a goal. There was no confidence in that German team. But also with regards to the German team is that Joachim Löw, his time is up. Okay, we know officially his time is up, but his time has been up for long. There comes a point in time where every team needs a new manager because they need a new voice in the dressing room. They get tired of they get familiar, with hearing the same voice. They get familiar with going through the same drills and the tactics and the game plans. They need something new. And that's why even a manager like Zinedine Zidane, he said one of the reasons why he left Real Madrid, the first time he left Real Madrid, he said was because he felt that he could not give anything more to that team. They need a new voice in the dressing room. And that is the truth. And that's been the case with Germany. Now they've changed their manager, but they needed to make this change earlier because his time has been up for long. And the Germans got talent, and that's why I think the Germans in next year's World Cup, I think they will be a force to reckon with. Number one, because they're hiring Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick's a world-class manager. You saw what he done with Bayern. He came half season and he won the sextuple. He won 6 trophies. Every trophy they competed in, every competition they competed in, they won. He done that in half a season at Bayern Munich. So he's coming. He'll be there for the World Cup. And Germany do have the talent. It's not like they are a Spain or they are a Croatia where there's just no talent in those teams. Germany have talent. So with the right manager, with Hansi Flick, I do think Germany will be a force in the World Cup. But Joachim Löw, his time has been up. That team is not responding at all to him. The front three were non-existent in this game. Kai Havertz, I'm not a big fan of Kai Havertz. I think he's an average player. I think he's a player that he needs players around him to have probably to carry the burden, and then he can just be in the box and score goals because that's what he does pretty well. But I think he's an average player. I think he's an average player. I don't see what he does very well. He doesn't pass the ball well. He doesn't run with the ball well. He got no speed. He can't go past people. The only thing I know he can do is finish. So that's why I'm saying he needs other players around him to carry the performance, and then he can just be there in the box to control and finish. Then you've got Timo Werner. We know what you're dealing with regards to Timo Werner. It's a player that is very quick, very fast, but lacks in product drastically. He lacks in product. He had an opportunity in the game. Pickford ended up saving it, but you have to score these opportunities. You know, these are one-on-one opportunities you need to score. But that's Timo Werner. He's not a good goal scorer at all. And then Thomas Muller, he really looked old in this tournament. He really looked old. I think he will feature for Germany next year. I think he will feature for Germany in the World Cup next year, but he looked old in this tournament. And I just think that German team, they had no chance against this English team with the momentum. And England got home advantage. They're playing at Wembley every game. So that helps and that matters. You heard the crowd. Every time England got the ball, the crowd was on their side. Even when England weren't creating chances in this game, but the crowd was on their side, like England are going to score a goal. And that helps you. So home advantage is helping England. And that's why I say England are going to go all the way. England for the next game, I won't be surprised if they go back to a back 4-4-2-3-1. And I think you might maybe see Jack Grealish. I think Jack needs to play in the 10. Raheem Sterling, obviously. And Bukayo Saka had a very good first half. But the second half, he done nothing. So I think there may be a change there. They may want to bring Foden in again. But I think England will have too much for the opposition that they're versing in the quarterfinals, in the semi-finals. Way too much. You look at England's bench. Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, Marcus Rashford, Mount. These are very, very, very good players that they've got on their bench. Grealish. These players walk into any country. Any country's team they walk into. So, yeah, guys, that's my match review. The game plan was executed to perfection from England's point of view. Perfection. It's not there to outplay the opponents. It's not there to paint pretty pictures. It's there to get a result, and they getting results. The back door is shut, and they're scoring 1-0, they're scoring 2-0, whatever the case is, but they are winning games, and England will go all the way. As I'm saying, Harry Kane's form is still a concern because his performance was poor. His performance is poor, but a lot of people, they can't see past the goal. People just see a player scored a goal and they say the player had a good game. No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. And Harry Kane's performance was poor. He's still not looking mobile. His movements are poor. But let's hope he can, for England's sake, let's hope that this goal can do something for him and he can turn up, because England do need him. Right now it's the Raheem Sterling show. But going further in the competition, they are going to need Harry Kane to step up. So guys, that's my match review. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. I'll see you all for the next game. Peace.